Kung yung ICC may jurisdiction at hindi pa nag-umpisa ng anumang investigasyon nung nakaraang taon, nung Nobyembre, anong ibig sabihin ng presidente nung may pagbabago? Nung sinabi niya na hindi tayo hahadlang pero hindi rin tayo magko-cooperate. Ba't niya sinabi yon? Biglang iba na ang tono, biglang nagbago. Kayo nga nagsabi, dapat talaga nagbabago ang palaisipan ng tao.
Ganun po talaga dapat ho, hindi natin itataga sa bato ang pwede ho maging hindi totoo.
Siyempre natututo tayo sa
habang panahon. Natataldahan po tayo. Oho.
Tama. So, ang ibig sabihin, ang Pangulo nagbago rin ang palaisipan.
Marahil po.
So, ang sa kanya, may jurisdiction na pala.
Hindi ko ho pwedeng sabihin ng state of mind niya.
Opo.
Pero sinasabi ko lang ho, bilang tao, lahat po tayo pwede magbago ang pag-iisip.
Hindi ko naman hinihingi yung state of mind po. Ang tinatanong ko lang, maliwanag naman yung statement na sinabi niya na pwede tayong magpapasok ng ICC sa ating bansa. Pwera lang kapag walang ginagawa. Tama?
Hindi ho natin sinasabing imbitado sila rito. Hindi ho natin sinasabi na haharapin natin sila. Ngunit ang tao ho ay labas-pasok sa Pilipinas.
Pero hindi
tayo po ay mga being very hospitable people, we welcome all people who want to partake of the beauty of our country. Ayun po yung ating pinag-uusapan dito.
Pero hindi po ba yung mas maagang mga statement, yung mga unang statement, talagang hindi daw siya lalahok sa anumang investigasyon. Ngayon, hahayaan lang niya. Tama po.
Marahil po, marahil.
So, nagbago.
Sabi ko nga ho, nagbabago naman ang pagtingin natin lahat sa buhay. Hindi naman po ang pagtingin natin nung tayo 20 anyos at ngayon ay pareho pa rin.
Sana naman
tumatanda rin po tayo. Natututo rin po tayo.
So do you mean to tell me that after saying 100 times that the ICC has no jurisdiction, the President at the 101st time changed his mind and determined that there was somehow some kind of jurisdiction that allowed them to come here and investigate?
I cannot comment on his state of mind when he said that.
I don't think it's a question of state of mind, sir. It's statements.
His statement would speak for itself.
When did the executive then change his mind, given that we are admitting he changed his mind, at least to some degree?
Well, I cannot agree to the question, ma'am, is very vague, if you ask me.
Hindi, nagbago, di ba? Nung una, sabi niya talagang haharangan niya.
Because
at bawal,
as I said earlier, ma'am,
tapos biglang sinabi na bukas ang Pilipinas. Kung nag-iimbestiga sila, papasukin. Pwera lang pag may ginagawang o may
Again, I can say that hindi ko ako pwede magkomento sa state of mind niya. Kung paano ho nag-iisip ang Pangulo, hindi pa ako magkomento.
Kung galit, wala naman akong tinatanong kung masaya, yun ang state of mind. Ang tinatanong ko, dun sa sinabi, hindi ba maliwanag na nag-iba?
Sabi ko nga ho, lahat tayo nagbabago ng pag-iisip sa pagdaan po ng panahon.
Okay.
Tayo po ay natututo naman ng unti-unti at nauunawaan natin ng gusto ang pangyayari sa paligid natin.
Kung aaminin natin na nagbago ang pag-iisip, bakit? At kailan nagbago yung pag-iisip natin tungkol sa jurisdiction ng ICC? Bakit? At meron bang dahilan? Baka may alam ang DND, baka may alam ang NSC, para maintindihan natin kung saan na tayo ngayon. Kasi tayo ay nag-iimbestiga in aid of legislation. Gusto ko malaman saan ba tayo patungo. Ano na ba ngayon? Palibasa, eto nga, admitido natin, nagbago. Kung nagbago, saan na tayo ngayon?
Siguro po yung pag-unawa po ng ICC jurisdiction. Kasi nung nag-aapela pa tayo sa ICC na sinasabi natin na hindi tayo saklaw dito. Marahil yung isang pagising natin sa katotohanan na ang hinahabol ng ICC ay hindi naman bansa, ngunit individual. Marahil yun po yung pag-unawa na nagbago sa ating lahat. Kasi hindi naman po estado natin ang hinihimok ng ICC, kundi po yung mga individual dito na nagkasala at yung naging biktima po ng mga at ng mga pamilya po ng mga biktima na ay nung panahon na yun.
Okay. At sabihin natin may limited cooperation sa ICC. sabihin natin, nung 13 November, si ASEC ES Bersamin pala, ay nagsabi that if the ICC refers the process to Interpol, which may then transmit a red notice to the Philippines, the government will feel obliged to consider the red notice. Parang may ganon, may statement ba dyan? Yung kay ES Bersamin.
Alala ko po yung statement na yun.
Panaalala po
Opo.
niya.
Opo.
Oo. So, yung pagbabago ay malinaw. Kasi pati si Executive Secretary, diniin na nagbago nga talaga. Tama po ba? Kasi sabi niya, kapag may pulang notisya.
Marahil ho, dahil ito sa mga karanasan natin sa mga nakaraang buwan na tumutulong po ang Interpol sa ating bansa. Kaya ang paggalang natin sa Interpol ay ganun-ganun na lamang. Hindi po natin pinababayaan na magkasamaan ng loob sa Interpol sapagkat sila po ay ating inaasahan sa maraming pagkakataon.
Tama, talagang lumalahok tayo at umaasa sa Interpol. Ngayon, nung January, kayo po nagsalita at tatanungin ko kung tama po ba to. At sinabi na the Marcos administration ay uupo kasama na ng ICC. Talagang uupuan na natin to discuss certain areas of cooperation. So, hindi na no cooperation, no blocking, tatalakayin ang ibang mga areas kung pwede, kung saan pwede makipagkaisa. Tama ba yun?
Hindi ko ho naalala yung statement.
January 2025 po, sinabi ninyo, uupo kayo kasama ng ICC para malaman doon sa kanilang investigasyon ukol sa libo-libong ng war ni Presidente Duterte. Sabi mo, ayon sa report, na yung cooperation with an international tribunal ay pinapayagan sa ating batas. At yung ICC representatives have been going in and out of the country without any of us raising anything. January 2025 po.
So ano ho yung tanong?
Ang sinasabi ko, what happened to the President's statement that the government will not lift a finger? And what happens to your own assertion that there will be no blocking but no cooperation? Ngayon, nakikipagtungo na tayo sa ICC.
Hindi, yun po yung sinasabi natin, nagiging bukas ang ating isipan, ngunit hindi po natin ginawa. Hindi po tayo nakiupo, hindi tayo nakipag-usap. Yun po yung malinaw sa lahat.
Pero handa kayo nun, ngunit hindi natuloy. Ganun po ba?
Marahil ho, kung meron hong tutulay, pero wala naman hong tumuloy eh. Kaya wala hong nangyari.
Pero meron rin kayong sinabi that the ICC representatives as of January 2025 have been going in and out. Labas-pasok sila sa ating bansa. Hinahayaan lang natin.
Hindi ko po hindi ko ho alam yung pagpasok at paglabas nila.
Meron po
Wala ko akong kaalaman sa pagpasok at paglabas. Marahil sa kanilang pag-iimbestiga, labas-pasok sila rito. Ngunit wala akong nagsasabi sa akin na ICC po yung labas-pasok dito. Wala pong akong report sa immigration. Wala po akong report sa ating po mga...
Kayo po nagsabi, kaya ako nalaman na may ICC representatives na labas-pasok dito sa ating bansa na hindi tayo umaalma, hindi tayo nagrereklamo. Yun na ang pagkasabi po ninyo.
Sabi nga namin dati pa, kung wala ho silang nilalabag na batas, ay malaya po silang maglabas-pasok sa ating bansa. Katulad po ng kahit sino pang turista o sino pong nais bumisita sa ating bansa.
Iba po ang pakay ng turista, iba naman yata ang pakay ng kinatawan ng ICC. So, nag-iba na talaga. Sa bandang January ng 2025, hinayaan na natin sila na lumabas-pasok dito sa ating bansa. Ganun po ba?
Hindi po wala tayong hinahayaan, hindi lang ho tayo nagtatanong kung hindi natin tinatanong ang lahat ng labas-pasok dito kung sila po ay ICC.
Pero
kasi nga sa dami po ng labas-pasok sa atin, hindi po natin tinatanong.
So hanggang Enero nitong taon talagang maliwanag na labas-pasok na yung mga ICC. Ano?
Hindi ko po alam eh. Wala pa akong personal knowledge. I can only speak from personal knowledge.
Narito kasi sa Philippine Star at sinabi na I know that as anecdotally from people I know from the human rights community, they've been in contact here.
Oh, may mga nagkikwento po na may kausap silang ICC.
So alam po ninyo. Kasi sabi mo in-identify pa ninyo yung source. Sabi ninyo yung human rights people. Nagko-contact
Oo nga, oo.
usap na. Di alam na ninyo na nandito na yung ICC.
Ay, hindi ko nalalaman kung nandun sila. Sinasabi lang nila, may kausap sila. Hindi ko sinasabi ko saan sila nag-usap at paano. Pero, siyempre, marami hong gustong tumulay. Ngunit hindi naman natin, hindi ho nagkaroon ng pagkakataon na makilala talaga namin na ICC o makaharap. Kahit kailan po hindi namin nakaharap ang ICC.
Pero alam ninyo na megalaw na sila at nag-iimbestiga na sila.
7 taon na po silang gumagalaw, ma'am. 7 taon na. Hindi naman ngayon lang yan eh. 7 years ago, the ICC was already investigating what happened during the war.
What happened 7 years ago? Parang nahinto eh. Bakit sinabi natin na hindi na tayo
Yun lang po yung aking recollection kung kailan sila nagsimula. Na parang 2016 nga, baka 9 years ago pa. Sinimulan na po nilang bantayan ang ating watch, yung ating nung nagsimula po yung yan.
Pero matibay ang ating kalooban, matibay ang paninindigan natin na hindi natin tutulungan at talagang tututulan natin pagkat meron tayong sariling pulis, may sarili tayong mga korte. Ang liwaliwanag nun.
Opo.
Bago lamang.
Meron po tayong panahon na binabantayan dito.
Taon.
May panahon po tayong binabantayan dito. 2016 hanggang 2019 ay doon po ang kainitan. At ito po, ang dami ho lumalapit sa aming opisina, humihingi ng tulong na maimbestigahan yung kung kani-kanino na lamang. Pero marami ho kaming talagang naging
Kailan pumunta sa opisina ninyo? Kasi binabanggit ninyo, hindi pa Marcos administration, yung 2016 to 2019. Kailan nag-umpisa?
Simula ho sila pumunta sa amin, 2022 na. So matagal na ho nakalipas ang na nangyari.
Pero nung umpisa, ang sinasabi natin, paulit-ulit, talagang hindi tayo tutulong at hindi natin hahayaan sila manghimasok. Maybe, we can ask Secretary Anyo, sorry, kumakain po kayo, violation na naman ng human rights po to. Pero, kung maaari bilang pinuno ng National Security Council, baka may naalam kayo tungkol sa pivot. Kasi parang nag-iba eh. Di nag-iba. Bakit nag-iba? Nung una, ang tindi ng ating paninindigan na hindi kailanman tayo tutulong sa ICC. Biglang lumambot, nahahayaan natin pag pumasok sila, tapos pagkatapos nun, meron ng statement, uupo tayo. Kung may mamamagitan, pag-uusapan kung saan tayo pwede tumulong. Meron ba kayong alam, Secretary Anyo? Kasi maraming nagsasabi na kayo daw ang dahilan kung bakit nagbago ang isipan ng ating administrasyon.
Madam Chair, palagay ko po ay walang basis po yung ganung klaseng allegation sapagkat ito po ay legal na usapan at hindi po kami nag-focus sa legal na usapan sapagkat ang sa amin po ay on the lens of national security. Tapos wala rin po kaming na-monitor na pumasok dito ng mga ICC investigators nung sinasabi ng mga panahon na yan.
So wala kayong alam tungkol sa pagbabago ng isipan at polisiya ng ating administrasyon?
Wala po, Madam Chair.
At hindi rin kayo kasama sa pagpaplano ng aresto ni former President Duterte?
Ma'am, meron po akong opening statement. Pwede ko po bang basahin?
Siyempre, oo. In the meantime, if I may recognize the arrival of Senator Cayetano. Please proceed, Secretary.
Yes,
Anyo,
ma'am.
please.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to start by thanking the Senate Committee on Foreign Relations, chaired by Senator Amy R. Marcos, for the opportunity to clarify the truth about what transpired during the arrest of former President Rodrigo Roa Duterte and other related matters. I believe this is also a good venue for me and my fellow officials to clarify what really happened and to debunk and dispel the false accusations and fake narratives that have misled the public about this issue. As government officials, it is our duty to be truthful and to assure the public that our actions were proper and in accordance with the law. I, for one, have been the victim of relentless disinformation campaign aimed at destroying the integrity and credibility I have carefully built over 4 decades of public service, which began the day I entered the hallowed halls of the Philippine Military Academy. While public officials are not supposed to be thin-skinned, I have rolled with the punches for several days. However, the time has come for me to air my side. Therefore, I am grateful for the opportunity to speak before the Senate and present the truth. As a former member of the cabinet of the Duterte administration, it is also very hard for me to see the former president arrested. I worked closely with former President Duterte for so many years through the most serious crisis the country faced, and we have developed and nurtured a personal friendship. He trusted and respected me in the same way I trusted and respected him, even after our terms ended in 2022. I retired from public service when former President Duterte ended his term. However, the repeated calls for public service came again, and 6 months after my retirement, I was appointed by President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. to be his national security advisor. I saw my appointment as a continuation of my service to the Filipino people across different administrations. As a soldier, my loyalty has always been to the Constitution and the chain of command. This has always been my principle when I served as the Commanding General of the Philippine Army under President Noynoy Aquino, then as AP Chief of Staff, and later as Secretary of the Department of Interior and Local Government under President Duterte, and now as National Security Advisor under President Marcos Jr. In its position, I have held under several administrations. I have never played politics. I do not have a political agenda, nor do I have or will I ever have political ambitions. I uphold the same principle in my role as National Security Advisor and Director General of the National Security Council. Thus, I would like to state for the record that my role was limited to the mandate of my office to assess that the situation does not escalate into a national security concern. The implementation of the ICC is beyond my mandate, and I had no part in it. And may I also state for the record that I am not aware of any core group, nor am I a member of such group that allegedly planned and prepared to arrest a former President Duterte. In fact, it was only on Tuesday morning, March 11, 2025, that I learned that there was already an Interpol red notice and that the ICC would be served. There was also no intelligence operation. The former president's presence in Hong Kong, as well as his return to the country, was a public knowledge since it was heavily reported in both mainstream and social media. It is utterly unacceptable and unfair that my name is being dragged into an alleged grand conspiracy. I firmly deny any allegations of a grand conspiracy. In fact, the events in March 11 were spontaneous. As National Security Advisor, I was merely doing my job. However, I face all these accusations against my honor and integrity with firm resolve, knowing that I am on the side of the truth, and I was simply doing what I had to do. And in doing so, I upheld the truth, justice, and the rule of the law. Again, my loyalty is always to the country, to the Constitution, and not to any person. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Salamat, Secretary Ed.